Hi, everybody. Welcome to 2026. This is Clift, your indoor food grower, community grower in Loudoun County, Virginia. Really excited to be growing with you this year. If you haven't done so already and you want to learn how to grow food indoors, jump on this QR code right there, give it a scan. Free training is available. And we'd love to hear from you as we're starting off this new year. Share any questions, pictures, designs that you might have with us with hashtag myindoorgardenmarket or myindoorfoodgarden.com on any social channels. So over the next 20 minutes, we're going to do a rapid fire through understanding how to grow greens, herbs, and fruiting plants all year indoors. We've got a comprehensive training program that kicks off this week, right tonight. And we're going to go through a couple of different ways of understanding indoor growing. You can break it down like this. You've got two 6 month fruiting cycles. So if you wanted to grow cucumbers or tomatoes, you can get approximately 6 to 8 months out of those plants on average, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter, depends on how well the plants will do. And we're going to show how many plants you need in order to grow, and for the approximate number of people that would be required. And if you sign up for our free training program, you will get a PDF guide that you can use throughout the whole year, broken out by months and everything you need to do. If you follow, like, subscribe, or follow us on any of the social channels, you can learn that way too. You can actually grow along with us inside of our guide. All of these videos will be matched directly into the guide, so you'll have a comprehensive overview. We also have supply lists and things to get you started. If you happen to be in the greater Washington, D.C. area, the DMV, you can visit one of our fun events that we have on our website and get seedling bundles to get started, save you 30 days of growing time on average, and grow a ton of food for yourself and your family 12 months out of the year. So let's kick things off, and we're going to jump straight over into our opening poll. So, what did you grow indoors in 2025? Did you grow any fruiting plants? What's your number one growing goal for 2026? These are some things you might want to keep in mind as we go through the process. This is actually some fennel that was growing in one of the box systems. Didn't do too well, had a lot of greens, not really much going on at the bottom of the fennel, really small root zones, as you can see there. Not one of the better things that I grew over this past year, but it's always about trying. And I grew hundreds of plants over the course of 2025. So 2026, I expect to do better. I expect to have lots of other people doing better in our community, growing as well. And so just let's, if you could, take a moment, a little bit of self reflection. If you haven't grown indoors, why haven't you? Let's break down that barrier. If you haven't tried fruiting plants, figure out why that is the case. Let's get you some help to do that. And then what's your number one growing goal for 2026? Do you want to expand into fruiting plants? Do you want to produce as much as you need and replace the grocery store? Lots of different things that you can do. It's good to kind of check that out and think about it right now. So some of the barriers that we noticed over the course of the year was things like underpowered LED lighting. That led to weak, leggy plants. Wrong systems for fruiting crops. Pods were too small, shallow reservoirs. A lot of people didn't realize fruiting plants decline after 6 months, so they will often start to go down. So that doesn't mean you don't get any harvest, but you won't get as much as you did when you were first getting up to full production. Trying to plant too much. If you have a small box system, you can't really plant all of the sides of the box system. You can't plant all of the holes. It just becomes too crowded. Rock wool mishandling was an issue for some of our growers in our community. Uh, Too much exposure to light, too dry, algae builds up. It could be confusing for soil growers, watering too much, watering too little. General rule of thumb there is that you want to have a moist soil environment so it feels like a sponge. Some people didn't really use nutrients. They relied on just prepackaged soil, which is totally fine. But if you're able to use nutrients effectively in your indoor garden, then you're going to get a lot more production, and you're going to be able to reuse resources like hydroponic nutrients that are being expended from your systems. You can grow fast greens with slow herbs together in a system. They have similar nutrient profiles, they grow well, and you don't really a quarterly or biannual reset, you're going to constantly kind of be resetting things, taking one system out, putting in a new system. That's just how you're going to grow. So those are some of the things that we noticed. Some wins to celebrate 2025. Greens and herbs did exceptionally well with vertical systems like the grow mesh. Lettuce you can harvest continuously and consistently for 30 to 45 days, and then up to a month and a half after that. Soil setups with 3-gallon cloth or self-watering pots paired with 100-watt LED low light grow lights perform really well. We found that fruit success was highest with deep water hydro buckets, Let Pot self-watering pots, Let Pot Max or ELFSYS, some of the larger systems. So a couple of things to note: fruiting plants need more power, more space, and dedicated light. I would keep it to that 100-watt LED grow light unless you're using something that's really comprehensive and very, very efficient, like the Happy Leaf lights that are on our website. Beginners, typically, you will do best with 3 to 5 fruiting plants per person. Try not to do more than that. And staggered seedlings prevents harvest gaps. So ideally, you're going to want to have another bunch of seedlings growing about every 2 to 3 weeks throughout the 2026 growing season, which is, by the way, 12 months of the year. It's not limited to outdoors. Had a lot of great things happen in 2025. Meetup group grew pretty tremendously. 485 people in our general meetup group. Our Denver group grew by 170, Baltimore group by 130, total 3,000, over 3,000 total members across those. We hosted 45 classes and events across the whole year. Most of them were remote, but some were in person in the greater Washington, D.C. area. 580 classes overall. And social media growth was great. We had lots of people tune in. They started to follow us. They started to realize just how important this new type of growing is going to be for the future, and also for the future of their food security and their family. So let's jump right into it. The 2026 Indoor Food Growing with Lights plan. Really excited about this. A couple of things to note: greens and herbs. You can grow all year. You want to harvest continuously with new crops every 2 to 3 months. So you're going to take the system down, put in some fresh seedlings every 2 to 3 months. Fruiting cycles. You can do 2 different fruiting cycles or stagger growing. And fruiting plants naturally are going to peak about that 6 months indoors. So you can get them to last longer depending on the kind of system, but you can assume approximately 2 full cycles of the fruiting plants. Now, for greens and herbs, 16 plant systems like Grow Mesh, ELFSYS, Let Pot Max, those are good for a few full salads each week for 1 to 2 people. 32 plant systems, the bigger ones would be Garden with a Y, the Lettuce Grow. The ELFSYS it can expand out to 32 plants and beyond. This is massive. Daily salads for 3 people, continuous basil, mint, cilantro, dill, microgreens in 10 to 14 days. Really get a tremendous amount of production. So keep in mind the timing. Greens and herbs, 30 to 45 days. Some herbs can go as long as 60 to 90. Mediterranean herbs take a little bit longer to grow, but they are going to last longer. So 120, 160 days. Here is your 6-month fruiting cycle. So cycle A, January to June. As we begin, we're going to plant things like dwarf tomatoes, peppers, sweet peppers, strawberries, and then you're going to want to plant 1 to 2 seedlings basically every month. And I would add in probably a third in there just to make sure that you've got backup just in case something has any issues. So approximately 1 to 3, January, February, March. This gives you an overlapping fruit window and prevents total decline all at one time. So you're just going to constantly be grazing from these fruiting systems. Now, July, December, keep in mind that hot peppers, if your home heats up a little bit more than it would in the wintertime, it might be better to keep those into the hotter months. Tomatoes, dwarf tomatoes, for example, eggplants, if you've got a powerful 150-watt LED light, you can do all of those. So very similar, depending on the number of people, 1 to 3 seedlings per plant type per person starting each month. So June, July, August, you want to start all of those with that kind of in mind. Now for harvesting, you want to harvest continuously, cut the outer leaves off. Basically, you should get at least 3 months out of the greens and herbs. Fruiting plants, you're going to harvest when it's ripe. Tomatoes, pretty easy to find out, when it's ripe. Peppers, things of that nature, not too hard. Because we're growing in dwarf plants, you can actually do these things really easily. So keep in mind, minimum grow size grow light for success: 150 watts per plant for the tomato plants on the right hand side there, And 50 watts are going to be on the left-hand side for your greens and herbs. Keep the lights close when they're in the seedling stage, about like this, and then start to back them off as you're growing. LED grow lights, a lot of them out there. We do like the Happy Leaf lights, and here's a quick QR code with the discount to get them. They only use 30 watts, and they do great for tomatoes, cucumbers, herbs, almost anything you can imagine will grow really well with these lights. They will last a long time. They're an equivalent of a commercial standard light. They're used in big farms, indoor farms. So if you can get these when they're in stock, they are really powerful. They'll last a long time. Now, containers, a couple of things to remember about this: 3 gallons, 3 to 5 gallons for greens and herbs. Almost all of your greens and herbs are going to be happy in 3 gallon size. It could be a cloth bag, it can be a traditional clay pot container. You do want to have something underneath to catch water, of course, because you're growing indoors. Now, standard size fruiting plants, a tomato or a cucumber would be 5 gallons, but we recommend using a container or a patio or a dwarf size. Keeps you into the 3 gallon size. You don't need to worry about having too much space taken up. If you've got the space, though, it's pretty neat to have a vining or large fruiting plant. So a melon, for example, like a dwarf watermelon, and you could do dwarf fruit trees, which is really nice. You can actually have trees like apples and pears, things like that. These will actually grow inside if you've got a powerful enough light. Now, if you haven't done so already, good to get stocked up with plugs, trays, containers, things of that nature. This link will take you for a discount at home. It's HG Supply, Home and Garden Supply, I think is the name of the website. I forget what the HG stands for. But here's some Rockwell plugs. Those are great for starting different kinds of seedlings, and they're big enough to accommodate a container as well. And so you give this a scan there, that will actually take you over to that supply list. Self-watering pots, super useful. I like these because they allow you to plant whatever you like. You can do dwarf-sized cucumbers, tomatoes. You could do lettuce in them if you wanted. It's got a water reservoir at the bottom, so the plant is going to naturally just pull water up in the root system and provide it with enough water to grow. You only have to top that off, and they actually have a hose system that allows you to connect them together and be topped off by basically an extra reservoir. So a really effective way of growing a lot of fruiting plants indoors. A few things to note about the seeds. If you're buying from a big box store, make sure you plant extra seeds. I'd say probably 2 to 5 seeds as opposed to like 1 to 3 in a better germinating seeds. Plant twice as deep as the size of the seed. So your lettuce and greens are going to be really light. You're going to sprinkle those on the surface of the soil, sprinkle soil on top of that. Plant everything else a little bit deeper based on the size of the seeds. And good source for seeds is actually seedsnow.com. They have seeds that are great for just generally growing indoors, but also they're good for hydroponics. They've got nice little bundles. So you do get a little 10% off if you scan that QR code and you head over to get some seeds as you're planning out your 2026 year. Now, hydroponics, soilless agriculture, lots of ways to do this out there now that didn't exist a couple of years ago. Cool thing about it is commercial hydroponic systems like the one you see there, the big flat things, those are slowly going out of style. And so what we're left with is a lot of really helpful kinds of box systems and vertical systems that will grow right in your house and help you to take back control of your food supply and begin to grow more food for your family. Let Pot is one of them. This one is going to do 1 salad a week for 1 or 2 people on average. It has a 21 pod tray for the greens and herbs and a 2 pod tray for your fruiting plants like cucumbers and tomatoes. It's got all kinds of bells and whistles, app built into it, lights, external reservoir, which is really unique, but it's a good starter system for the price. Grow Mesh, one of my favorites, made in the USA down in Georgia. Doesn't come with a stand and lights typically, although I think they've got a new stand on their website now. You can check that out. What I found, 3 different QR codes here. Scan each one of them, buy your stand, buy your grow mesh, buy your lights. You can set it up in the fashion that you see right here on the YouTube video, and you will be able to grow 1 to 3 salads per week, or you can put 2 of these systems side by side and grow way more than that. I'd say 5 to 8 salads per week. This truly is a grocery store killer. Once you have enough seedlings going, once you're growing in these systems, you will be able to replace the grocery store completely, very, very inexpensively, and much, much cheaper than most of the other systems out there on the market as well. Last but not least, among these bigger systems, Elfsys. A lot of people like the Elfsys because it's got different levels to grow into. You can stagger grow, as we noted before. So start your first month, plant all your seedlings down in the lower level. About 2 to 3 weeks later, plant the second level. 2 to 3 weeks after that, you're going to go up to that third level, and you're going to keep cycling up and down through these. We've got a 25% off coupon for you there if you wanted to grab it. This is easily a couple of salads per week per shelf. This can also handle dwarf cucumbers, tomatoes, things of that nature. Really powerful, among the more expensive options than the ones we've talked about, which would be in the 100 to 200 range. The Elfsys is definitely going up closer to 500-600 when you get all of the bells and whistles. But looks like a nice system, great to put in a kitchen or something. So thanks so much for joining us for this kickoff, the 2026 Indoor Food Growing Training Program. If you haven't done so already, definitely jump onto the training program. QR code up there, sign up for that training program. That is going to get you access to a comprehensive PDF overview for all 12 months, basically. Step-by-step instructions, a collection of all of these videos that you can go through and use. You're going to start by setting up your fruiting cycle A seedlings in January, which we'll go through together. You're going to choose a system for greens and herbs and fruiting plants as your step 3. Make sure that you sign up. Another reminder here, join the Indoor Food Growing Training Program by scanning that QR code or just heading over to indoorgardenmarket.com. The weekly planter grow nights are all going to be bundled into our training program. We will update those as we go along through the year. So if you miss a section, if you're not sure about how to do something, you can always jump back over, watch that video, come back, get your checklists and updates. But definitely join us for the planter grow nights. Those allow you to ask questions, to get help, and to really move yourself forward. And hopefully by the end of this year, you'll get the opportunity to participate in the 2026 Year-Round Harvest Challenge. That's a new program. We'll be launching that later in the year. It's not quite ready yet, but something to watch out for. So lots of exciting things happening. We are on a path to grow food year-round indoors in massive amounts, in ways that would probably surprise you. So coming up next week, let's take a quick look at it. We'll be back to our regular program, not the quick overview like we did at the beginning of the year here. So we're going to hit on the indoor gardening basics. Soil versus hydro, lights, space, expectations around those different systems. It's going to be next Saturday. You can check us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. Follow our YouTube channel. Or you can subscribe to the free training program right there. You're going to get reminders. You're going to get the full overview of all of the different systems and ways to grow, all built right in. Really excited to be here. My name's Clift, if you haven't seen down there, Loudoun County, Virginia community grower. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to grow a huge amount of food. Up to 75 pounds of greens, herbs, and fruiting plants are able to be grown per year in about the same size space as a coffee table. Might sound surprising to you. You'll be shocked at how much you can get, and it's only going to get more efficient and easier to do. We're at the early stage of this technology. People are just discovering it. We don't have, honestly, the best systems yet. We don't have the right processes yet. You can't even really get seedlings in the middle of the winter, like right now, to drop into these systems and be successful growing. If you're in the DC area, you can, because we do have that option in our local program. But a lot of the places that you don't. You won't see seedlings hit the store shelves until the outside growing starts up. So we're going to fix all those problems slowly but surely, and we're going to get you efficient, inexpensive growing for your family, take back control of your food supply, and really get you growing in ways that I think you'll be surprised. So thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you on the next live stream. Thank you.